It's always good to have Bob Ellis with us. He's the owner of the American Clarion. That web address is on the screen right now, and you should go there and read some of the excellent conservative commentary on that site. Bob, we've been talking a little bit about Obamacare money in South Dakota.
Yeah.
Governor Dugard has asked for and received just short of $7 million in Obamacare money. What's he doing with it?
As I understand it, I think about $1 million of that may have already been spent, but we've got another, what is it, 6.9, something like that?
I think
that's
5.8 is the last number I've heard.
Yeah, about another 5.8, 5.9 that we've got in the pocket, but what are we doing with that? If we've made the decision that we're not going to move forward with a state health care exchange, which I do think is the right decision, where's that money going? Is that going back to reimburse the taxpayers? What's going on with that?
Well, it's interesting that you bring up the subject of the state healthcare exchange, and it's a good thing we're not doing that. I think it is also a good thing we're not doing that, but what disappoints me is the reason the governor said we're not doing it. The reason Governor Dugard says is because it's too expensive. I believe that's the wrong reason. The right reason would be because Obamacare is wrong for South Dakota, and South Dakotans don't want it. That's the right reason.
Correct.
So where are we with all of that? It looks like he's still has a full-time staff. He's still engaged in working directly with the federal government on Obamacare. What does that do to our religious freedoms, Bob?
Well, that's one of the most important aspects of Obamacare is it's not just its attack on the Constitution, which it is totally outside Article 1, Section 8, not only on the attacks on the basic freedoms of Americans to buy what they want to buy and do what they want to do, but it also attacks our religious freedom by forcing people who may disagree morally with certain things, certain products, certain procedures. It forces them, whether they disagree with those things or not, to participate in them. That is flat wrong.
Well, that's why the Catholic Church has been, God bless them, the leader in the spiritual community in opposition to Obamacare.
Yeah.
Because it infringes on our religious liberties. I have to wonder, if not for the Catholic Church, would anybody be defending that?
Well, they definitely have been the most loud and most bold and visible voice for this, and I'm really thankful for that. There are certain things that I may not share the same beliefs as certain Catholics do, but I respect incredibly their right to believe those things and their religious conviction about that, and we all should be concerned whenever someone is being asked to violate their conscience. We should all be very concerned about that.
Well, yes, and it's even a little stronger than being asked. We're being dictated.
Exactly.
We're being told that we must violate those deeply held moral convictions. And Bob, there's something that should ring alarm bells across America when the government is dictating morality to us.
There's no doubt. I mean, you look at the earliest foundations of our country, people who came here, Europeans who came here first, they came here to get away from this sort of thing, from being told what sort of religious beliefs they had to have. Their religious beliefs then had to be state approved. The government had to approve of what they did, what they believed, and how they worshiped. We left Europe to get away from that, and now we're imposing it on ourselves again. It's outrageous.
It really is, and it really, as you look at that whole issue, you can dilute it down to this incredible Affordable Care Act, the PPACA, Obamacare, whatever you want to call it. It's an abomination.
It is, on so many levels. You know, it not only affects our religious freedoms and things that we've talked about, but restaurants are having to change the way that they do business. They're having to change their signs. They're having to change their menus. It intrudes into our everyday lives and into our businesses in so many ways. It is just totally un-American.
Well, if it's so totally un-American, why do we not totally stand up from the governor's office on down in South Dakota, look this Obama administration in the eye and say no?
That is one of the most perplexing questions I have had to deal with in recent years. You understand whenever Democrats push this sort of thing, but whenever Republicans say out of one side of their mouth that they oppose it, and on the other side they're acting in complicity with it, I'm left perplexed.
And that's where we're going to leave you, perplexed.